Hi friends, and welcome back to another episode of Skyrim Mods of the Moment. Today on the list we have as many as 22 brand new immersion, UI, environmental, armors and weapons, graphics and player home mods. I'm Bard's College graduate, and without further introduction, let's begin the showcases with the new immersion mods. First off, we have Take a Nap, Sleep on Chairs, or Siestas of Skyrim. To put it simply, this mod makes it possible for your character to sleep on a chair. Just walk up to a chair, bench or a throne and press Shift plus your activation key to have the option to have a refreshing nap up to 3 hours. This is not comfy by any means, so there's a high chance you'll have some back pains for the next hours. These animations are all new as well, powered by Open Animation Replacer, so be sure to have that installed to have them work correctly. In a classic J-Serpa fashion, the NPCs around you might react to you napping on a chair with fitting voice lines.
We got warm beds.
I can almost feel the grogginess through my screen. Those 3-hour naps are the worst. Dynamic looting and harvesting animations is another mod that brings us a little bit closer to that desired immersion utopia by adding all new dynamic animations. Again, with the help of Open Animation Replacer, there are now new instances where a fitting animation will play for picking flowers, harvesting vegetables, catching bees, and much more. As you can see, these things you pick up will be displayed on your character's hand if you have immersive equipment displays installed, which is another mod I can recommend wholeheartedly and is a staple on my mod list. This coin pouch animation is my favorite. Now, let's take a look at a couple of creepy creatures that can now talk. Talkative Spriggans, Mihail monsters and animals adds 13 new lines of custom dialogue to these forest guardians that previously didn't utter a word. They will not be happy about you breaking the peace of the woodlands and will curse you out in different ways with beautiful and threatening voice-acted lines. Frightening? Yes, but that is what makes it so great. Speaking of frightening, you guys already know how much I dislike the Falmer caves. And with Talkative Falmer, Mihail monsters and animals, I think I might dislike them even more. With this mod, there are now 14 all new lines of Falmery dialogue and 3 different types of clicking echolocation noises added for these underground sad reminders of the snow elves. Most of these lines are spoken in combat, and the echolocation clicking noises were actually part of vanilla cut content that has now been restored into the game. And now these caves are even creepier. Great for those who love that sort of atmosphere, and very bad for me. As the mega exciting Skyblivion release becomes near, a couple of user interface mods developed for the project have been just now released for Skyrim. Skyblivion Lockpick menu overhauls Skyrim lockpicking system entirely into a new one, inspired by Oblivion and ESO. This lockpicking minigame makes this art of thieving feel more rewarding and simply fun, as it's more interactive and harder too, in my opinion. There's also the auto attempt feature if you don't feel like doing the lockpicking yourself, and the mod also has full controller support for those who play with a gamepad. The second UI mod created for Skyblivion is Modern Wait Menu. It's a simple mod, but makes a great difference for the game's wait and rest menu. Forget about that mundane vanilla waiting UI, as now with this mod it's instead an interactive time wheel with a new cursor and weather indicator icons. This design is incredible, so clean and modern, and works just great. These two mods, even if they are just for UI, make me even more hyped for Skyblivion. I can't wait. Today I have one exciting quest extension on the menu as well. Unfaltered Virtue, a Penitus Oculatus story, aims to transform the quest, destroy the Dark Brotherhood, and expand Penitus Oculatus as a faction. The vanilla quest for ending the Dark Brotherhood guild in Skyrim is a bit of a stub. Basically, you can just go in alone and wreak havoc on the cult members after killing Astrid in the abandoned shack. So simple and a bit boring. With the mod, destroying the guild is a bit more complicated and fun. You need to start tracking down these Dark Brotherhood assassins one by one, while on the quest to find out the password to the headquarters in Volkihar. Not only is this assassin hunting and other questing implemented well, but also the added dialogue with Commander Morrow is great, as his character has been expanded and given a lot of personality.
You're right. I suppose she looks good for her age.
And who knows, ending up in jail with Babette herself might not even be the strangest thing this mod offers. I absolutely adore this quest expansion for how it makes both routes of Dark Brotherhood feel viable. You'll even get to attend Vittoria Vichi's famous wedding, which normally would be cut off completely of the game if you decided to destroy the guild. Unfaltered Virtue achieves to give a bigger impact to Penitus Oculatus in the province, and this alternative way of dealing with the Dark Brotherhood is a great option to have in the game. Now let's jump in environmental mods, beginning with JK's Castle Volkihar. This mod completely visually overhauls this central Dawnguard DLC location, where the clan Volkihar vampires famously keep court. The overhaul includes pretty much everything from the exterior to the interior, and Valerica's study and the ruined tower. There's also new rooms and areas added to the castle, a small library, a vault, and a spooky bathing area. From the outside, the castle now looks more intimidating with all those added spikes, and inside it's made more warm with added candlelight without losing any of its sinister atmosphere, on the contrary. Of course, there are tons of more vivid detail in a classic JK fashion, my favorites being these new draugrs and the courtyard. Valerica's study room has also gone under big changes, as now it is an actual study and not just some empty hall with a portal to the soul cairn. I think this mod makes choosing the side of the vampires more fun, as the castle is now more fitting as a player home and is overall greatly enhanced from the vanilla version. In the dark pine forests of Volkihar, we have the bandit-infested Cracked Tusk Keep. This fort in the southern Volkihar hold always felt like it lacked potential, and with this mod, I think it's finally reached it. Now this place isn't a regular fort anymore, but a proper orc stronghold, as it should have been from the beginning. The overhaul looks amazing, and all these details... I gasped when I saw this poor guy imprisoned by these orcs. Now there are also 6 small quests implemented into this location, as well as useful merchants, but if you only want the visual overhaul, you can choose the alternate version in the mod files. Let's check out Rin's Lumber Mills next. This mod author is known for their location overhauls, and now the standalone lumber mills have been upgraded as well. There are 4 mills in Skyrim that aren't tied to cities or towns, and those Rin has enhanced. Anga's Mill west of Windhelm, Half Moon Mill on the shore of Lake Ilinalta, Heartwood Mill in the Rift, and Mixwater Mill in Eastmarch. With the mod, these lumber mills feel more lived in and look more detailed while keeping the added clutter in a reasonable level. They're quite not as clean as they were, maybe even a little bit messy, making them feel more realistic as people actually do heavy work here. The borders of the land have been strengthened, and now some of them have their own ships, which just makes sense as they would definitely need their own ships to transport the lumber with. Once again, beautiful work from Rin, and now let's check out Skyfall's Sleeping Hist tree overhaul. The sleeping tree in Whiterun Tundra is a mysterious tree that no one really knows how it came to grow here, but the locals know enough to tell stories about its origin. Now, with this mod, the area surrounding this mythical tree gets overhauled to properly reflect its magical properties. The tree now has a unique model that is large and healthy and very powerful looking. The pond underneath is larger too, and there are hanging Hist flowers and vines and lanterns and other details with fog swirling around it. There's an add-on for a mysterious purple glow as well if you'd like it to appear even more magical. You can sit under the tree and enjoy the atmosphere, and all this results in a representation of the history that it really deserves. And finally, we have Unmarked Locations Pack all-in-one. I have showcased parts of this mod I think a couple times before, but finally all of it has been packed into a single mod. What this mod does is adding numerous points of interest around the game, including places such as the Forgotten Vale, Sovngarde, Solcairn and Solstheim. These points of interest include more than 125 unique locations you can visit or stumble upon on your travels, and not only are they interesting to explore, but they might also include loot or different encounters. There are new shrines, buildings, monuments, characters, and even battlegrounds, and all designed in a subtle way to fit in the landscape of Skyrim, making the exploration in the world more fun and interesting. Now let's take a look at new armors and weapons mods. First off, there are two incredible looking one-handed swords released by John Skyrim, who is one of the greatest Skyrim modders I know. These swords, Relentless and Sword of Kings, both come in 1K, 2K and 4K resolutions. Relentless is available as zwei-handed as well if that's what you prefer, and you can choose the runes to glow in different intensities that look simply epic. Sword of Kings is based on a sword of the same name from the TV show Vikings and fits like a glove to Skyrim in my opinion. The handle has beautiful gems and the blade has intricate rune carvings. Both swords have custom scabbards as well to match the blades, and both are absolute works of art. Today we also have Orc Hero Swords, a mod that adds an Orsimer style curved greatsword and a one-handed sword. These similar swords are perfect for your orc character, as they are obviously very much in theme, but also the stats of them are a bit stronger than normal orcish weapons. You can craft them at a forge with the orcish smithing perk after completing the Cursed Tribe Daedric quest. We do also have one armor left to showcase today. This is Crown Plate Set, and yes, I did travel to Hammerfell just to showcase this beautiful piece. Crown Plate Set is an armor set inspired by the Red Guard, and it also comes with a weapon, a one-handed sword. The details are absolutely magnificent, with all the rings on the fingers, all this golden chainmail, and the snake imagery. The helmet is a unique piece of art as well. This armor can be acquired by crafting it with the Advanced Armor Smithing perk. To my delight, there are also a couple of new graphics mods available, so let's dive straight in. TMD Winery is a mod that replaces wine bottles and comes with the support of ENB complex material and dynamic cube maps. I can't stress enough how great these bottles look now, especially the labels. I have always been fascinated by feathers. With slightly better Hagraven feathers, now these alchemy ingredients look really beautiful on a shelf, but you won't find me plucking them off of an angry Hagraven anytime soon. And finally, we have Ignoble Beds, a noble and upper class bed replacer, which is a mesh replacer for the beds of the higher members of Skyrim society. These beds are absolutely magnificent, perfect for staying in bed all day and dreaming of dragons, maybe inspired by these wooden dragon ornaments that make the beds look so much more high class. There is also an optional base object swapper version for more color variants, but it seems to be incompatible with Justos blankets unfortunately, so you can't crawl under those sheets. I always like to feature player home mods in my Mods of the Moment videos, and today we have two of those that are pretty much the polar opposites of each other. I'll show you how. First, here is Yaholi, a no-load door hunter's lodge. This player home is located in a picturesque place at Lake Ilinalta, looking very luxurious and being very different from the homes I usually showcase. This player home is also different in the way that it has absolutely no loading screens, so you can just waltz right in without having to wait at all. The view from the lakeside house is beautiful as expected, but in addition to beauty, it also offers functionality. There are a lot of buttons around the place that you can toggle on and off, and the house includes all of the crafting station needs you might have, as well as shrines and displays. There is also a custom arrow crafting workstation that is a perfect detail for a hunter living in the woods. On the deck, there is a sitting marker so you can sit down and take in the landscape, and you also have the option to take a nice bath after a long day, which I appreciate very much. On the yard, there is also the Shrine of Kinnereth, also something you can interact with. When the night falls, the house seems even more cozy and welcoming. With the fire warming our toes, we can watch the stars light up one by one outside. What a peaceful, perfect place. Like I mentioned, these two houses are polar opposites of each other, and now I'll show you why. This is Black Manor. It's a dark Gothic manor located in the deep north of Skyrim, an excellent hideaway for any and all lovers of darkness and such nocturnal elements. As you can see, this manor is huge, and as expected, it contains as many as 5 bed chambers, a study room, a creepy cellar and the attic, a weapon room, and of course secret rooms and passageways. And that's just touching the surface, as there is a lot to explore in this manor. In the cellar, there is a smithing area and a small mine, and coffins to sleep in if you're a vampire. On the attic, you'll find the master bedroom and a cool study table to work on your taxes, probably. Between the cellar and the attic, there are 4 floors that are filled with rooms for various purposes. And if Yaholi didn't have any loading screens, this player home has plenty between all the floors. To sum the mod up, if you're looking for a winter getaway for your vampire character, Black Manor excels at combining these gothic, dark and cozy vibes, while keeping it clean and non-gory. This video was co-produced by Kira, Ryan Ulrich, Sphinx, Dodebunker and the Panicked Monk, as well as my other Patreon supporters whom I appreciate so much. If you want to support the channel, check out patreon.com/bardscollegegraduate or consider joining as a channel member. Thank you so much for watching the video. Take care and see ya!